Hello, everyone. Well, we're trying this again. We are going to interview Siobhan Wilcox today on Manifesting Magic. I think I just saw an orb go by.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
It went that way.
Well, we've been just having fun live streaming upside down and trying to get things working. But guys, I just look at this as having fun. And when I make mistakes, it gives you permission to get online, not wear makeup, make mistakes, because this is about getting the information out there. Siobhan is a great manifester. That's why this is about manifesting magic, because everyone can do this, can't they?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So that's what it's all about. So we want to give you this really cool tool. Now she's going to go tell you a story about Queen and manifesting a ticket. Take it away, girlfriend. I'm going to go and look online and see what's happening with Facebook today.
Yeah, thanks, Brenny. I'm so honored to be here with you. So yeah, I love manifesting. I've been teaching manifesting for nearly 20 years now. And I didn't realize how good I was at it. I took it for granted that everybody was able to manifest at the level I was able to do it at for a long, long time. It wasn't until people started passing or pointing it out to me that, like, Siobhan, how do you do that? I'm like, how do I do what? You mean not everybody can win those VIP tickets and say, oh, I think I'll go to that conference and then have a ticket handed to them? Okay, that's really how I do it. But so I'm going to share you a story from when I was 16. And I was so obsessed with Queen and Freddie Mercury, I still listen to him all the time. It's like, we are the champions, my friends. Anyway, I love Queen. And I so wanted to see Queen play in Ireland, where I'm from, in Slane. But I had no money for a ticket. And all my girlfriends were going. And somebody said, why don't you win a ticket? And I went, win a ticket? There's a concept. Never thought of that before. Well, not only did I win the ticket, I won the VIP ticket, helicopter to where all the celebrities were hanging out in the VIP quarters with free food for the whole day, and then hanging out with all the celebrities in the media lounge, and then home in the limousine. I mean, you could not get, at 16, that was just like...
At 16, at 55, I would go for that, girlfriend, right now.
I said, oh, that was easy. And now it sounds like, how did you win that ticket, right? Well, I was the 10th caller on the most popular radio station at the time, twice. So not just once did I get through with thousands of people ringing and be the 10th caller. Because the first time I rang in, I only got 5 of the songs right, because they played you 10 snippets. And then the second time I rang in, I got the 10 songs right, because I practiced and recorded it and gone through my album and got all the names, and I was ready. I said, now that's it, I'm getting on. Now, who does that? Well, I do.
Sounds a little like me, a little scary, but yeah, we do that stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, I've used that ability to manifest what I wanted without even knowing that that was a massive gift, just taking it for granted, being hugely grateful, obviously, not thinking, oh, well, there you go. But just everything I always needed, I received. So then people started saying to me, so Siobhan, how do you do that? Seriously, how do you do that? Because you're so good at it. Everything from, I need a parking space, which is the small things in life. You know, I break down our manifesting desires into 3 different layers. There's your everyday desires. They're the things that help a constant flow come into your life. So I never really ever stand in line at the checkout, right? I'm usually, they open a new checkout, I walk up. Or if I have to be in line, there's one other person in front of me. It just doesn't happen. But that's a conscious decision to allow more flow into my life. I always get...
I got to make a comment just because it keeps popping in my head. I saw it was so cute. I don't know where I saw it, Facebook or whatever, but this little boy was talking about karma, and they were asking questions, and he goes, well, karma, he goes, my parents have really good parking karma. And I have great parking karma, but even my mom and I, whenever we would shop together, I'd always say, oh, we're going to park in the front row. And we always would. And so she just
Mhm.
started saying it. Oh, we're going to park in the front row. And people are like, how do you always get front row parking spots? I go, because I just believe it's going to happen. I'm just like, well,
I know.
I
They're
don't know
just
who the orbs are today, but they're very active. They like what we're saying. Oh, they want us to manifest a whole bunch for you.
they
Okay,
are just floating around you all of the time.
I love it.
Seriously. So we have our everyday desires, that parking spot at the front, the not getting in line, all of that simple stuff, but that simple stuff takes a lot of weight off,
Oh,
right? Takes a lot of worry off, takes a lot of anxiety off. And so, just those simple everyday desires, when you start to manifest at that level, you start to get a lot more flow. Then the next level is your quality of life desires. Now, they're your material needs, your home, your career, your money in your bank account, the amount of clients you want. And then the top level is kind of like those big vision desires. Your on television show, your best-selling book, your product that is, creates a legacy, your ability to give back at a high level, right? So they're your big vision desires. What I find most people do is they move from their everyday desires from, oh my God, I got a parking space.
woo!
I
Hey,
can
that's
do this.
exciting, guys, and that just changed your energy to goodness.
And they think that now I have a parking space, now I can get a TV show.
Yeah, they missed a step in there, didn't they?
This is what happens all the time to people, right? They don't do the bridge piece in the middle. They go from this piece to the other side.
So they go from super excited, so I'm going to do this, and then what happens when they don't manifest?
Exactly. Then they've shot it out so far ahead of them, and then they beat themselves up because it's not getting there. Many of us watched The Secret, and that was a phenomenal movie, brilliantly done. But it didn't give all of the steps.
Yes.
And it really focused a lot on those bigger vision desires. And so people were like creating at that level, but not getting everything they needed and not understanding. They thought, oh, this system is broken, right? But they were just missing some of the steps in the system.
So I want to say, if you watch that movie, that's a good thing, because it created a flurry of more activity of people that had been wanting this information. So that's what it did. There's never a good or a bad in this to me. Those of us that do manifest and stuff, we're like, oh, they're missing a little bit in the secret, especially when I saw that they went right to the guy who was paralyzed and then he could walk. It was like, maybe they should have started them out like they need a rug for their kitchen. That's what we do in feng shui. Start small, make the adjustment small, manifest small, and then you have confidence. And being a runner, when I was in high school, when you were talking, it was like what I related to it was the people that would, running is something you do every day. You're diligent at it. But it's like saying, okay, I made it a mile today, and tomorrow I'm going to break 5 minutes. You're missing a lot of steps in between.
Exactly. You've got to build your manifesting muscles.
Manifesting muscles. I like it, girlfriend. Get your manifesting muscles.
If only it was that easy for the rest of the body. But for the manifesting piece, yes, it is. So, one of the things that I realized when I started to analyze how I manifested, there's a couple of things that people don't seem to realize. And one of them is that you need to have a huge amount of belief. So this is, I'm going to show you a picture. There's an incredible artist who does sacred geometry art. This is one of her pieces in the background here. This is alchemy. But she did my portrait. And when she did my portrait, this is it here, if you can see it.
I love it.
This is belief. And she said, I hold the frequency of belief in the collective consciousness. So that's outer belief. And there's also, of course, an inner belief. There's two areas of belief because we need to have both. That is inner belief.
I love it. It's so beautiful.
So
inner and outer belief, the balance.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because they're the reverse of the colorings too, like
Yep.
yin and yang, above and below, that type thing. Do you want to talk briefly, as long as you brought it up, about sacred geometry? Because we may have some people on here that have no idea even what that is.
Yes, absolutely. Well, sacred geometry is a fundamental part of the mathematics of the universe. And if we go back to what originally was analyzed was the flower of life, which I don't have a picture of it, but it's all interlocking circles, and they all interlock with each other. And there's 12 of them, I believe, in the original flower of life. And that was found in Egyptian temples. It's been found in many ancient cultures around the world. And it's believed to be almost like the egg of life. So it's the sacred geometry. If we look at then Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, I love it. She's talking my language. I just got excited. Did you say the Fibonacci sequence?
Yes. So, the basis of our universe is mathematical. And so, you have it.
I looked it up. I'll go like this for here, and then
little higher.
And then we'll go like this for Facebookers. Did you say I had it on there?
Yeah, beautiful. So that is the flower of life.
Just having this image around you is going to help you guys.
So powerful.
Who follows feng shui at all, as we know there's many ways to change energy. Visualization and color is one. I don't know if you can really see this. This one's purple.
So if you hold that up, you can see this is also the concept of oneness on our planet. Each of us are individual. So if you take every aspect of that, it's all individual in and of itself, but it also interlocks with each other. So it's like each of us are a unique soul, but we all interact with each other at a collective level.
Right.
So if I heal something at my level, it then filters out into my family and offers healing to those that are in my immediate surroundings. Right?
When you heal yourself, do you also heal the past?
The past?
Like your past relatives and things like that. When we're doing work on ourselves, it's not just ourselves or just like this very moment helping my family. It has a big impact. I really want people to get when you're doing self-work, even if you're not immediately seeing things. Siobhan and I talked about this because I've done a ton of work on myself, and I went through a point where I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Why isn't things working? But it laid the foundation, and now all these pieces of all the spiritual work and business work I've done, when 2017 hit, asked Siobhan, it was like, poof, everything changed for me. And I said, oh, I see. I had done the work ahead of time. But it also has made a big difference in my family. I'm seeing it in my family and how they are acting and communicating with me is completely different. So
absolutely.
When you work on yourself, you're helping others and you're helping the planet by doing that. So I just felt I needed to say that.
Thank you, Brenny. No, that is so, it really does. It filters out, but it's because of that flower of life, right? It's like you drop a pebble into the water, it ripples out into all areas.
Right.
It ripples out into what I would call your lineage or your family line.
Right.
It ripples into your immediate friends and your circle of, if you're in a career, in the colleagues you work with around you, and so on and so forth. So healing yourself is, I love this phrase from the Dalai Lama. I use it a lot. He says, you need to be wisely selfish. Now, wisely selfish in the category he was talking about was, if we believed that we were the most important person on the planet Earth, then we would treat ourselves in such a precious way that everybody around us would be honored. So being wisely selfish is about really owning your own God self, your own higher frequency, your own brilliance, and allowing that to then filter out to all of those around you. When we hold ourselves in victim.
I just have to say, it's funny because you saw me shake my head, like, be the most important person on earth. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it's like one of my big challenges is I have to work on is self-worth. And as soon as you kept talking, I go, oh my gosh, I was just like, I'm not worthy. That's not me. Yeah, it is.
Interesting, Brenny.
See, guys, that's what's great around hanging out with other people, because just us talking here, I certainly get clarifications, and I certainly get shifts and movements in my thoughts, in my body, in my mind, and in my life. So that's why we want you to show up for these calls, ask questions, be like, I do want to make a comment. I'm not seeing the live people on here, but there has been weird energy in the universe. If you guys have any idea at all what's going on, I've seen it everywhere, and it's technological. So there must be some universal energies going on for leprechauns, you know, or technology gremlins. They like to try and mess with us. We don't let that ever stop us. So what I wanted to say, it just, you know, it popped in, is Siobhan, maybe we're going to do this whole interview, but for those of you that haven't showed up live and you want to, it's really important because she's really powerful, and we want to help people. We want to have you put comments in and be able to help you get shifts. But if you're not being able to see it right now, you know, maybe we'll do another live one, but we'll pick a couple people that do comment. So go out on the Facebook page and comment, and we'll do a live session and pull them on Zoom like you and I are, and do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Cool?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I just got downloads.
No, you're fine, sweetheart. No, it's very important.
Selfish at the moment.
Yes, you're being wisely selfish, darling. Wisely selfish.
Thank you.
And, you know, absolutely fabulous.
So guys, laughter is a good thing to do too. Hang out with us. We do it all the time.
Absolutely.
Lighten up.
No, I want to bring you back into that, just speak a little bit about that self-esteem and self-worth. I mean, that was a huge piece for me as well when I was growing up, and I hit into my early teens, early 20s. I was probably acting like a teenager, but I was in my early 20s, and I had complete stress burnout in an executive position. And I realized when I healed that, it took me 2 years to recover. I was on disability for 2 years. And at the same time, I was building my awareness. I studied the Flower of Life training by Melchizedek. I studied, flower essences and color therapy and vibrational medicine and Reiki. And I went on this really deep healing process for myself. And I did self-esteem training for women. And oh my God, did that help me so much, because I realized I was carrying this huge victim energy around with me that wasn't mine, that was part of the culture I'd grown up in, and I was schooled by nuns from like day one. So I had this whole martyr complex, and the only way to get to God was to be a martyr. And if you got nailed to a cross, you got there faster. And seriously.
My fingers are not doing well from being whacked by nuns with rulers. That's all I'm going to say.
And at one point I really thought I wanted to become a nun because I was so connected to God and so in love with Jesus, and I still am. But I thought that was the only way for me to get there, was to go deep into this life, and then of course I met my first boy, had a kiss. That was the end of that conversation.
They would have kicked us out as nuns, Siobhan. I mean, for sure, they would have ripped that habit off our heads and sent us on our way.
Would have been a bit like Whoopi Goldberg,
That would have been kind of fun, though, wouldn't it?
Maybe. Maybe not.
The nun path wasn't for me, but the godly path, the Jesus path, definitely is. So.
Yeah. So, like, coming back to the manifesting piece, this piece of belief, this is such a big piece, right? And also another piece that I realized was very powerful is the reason you want to create and the energy you put into the creation of it. So take, for example, my son is on the autism spectrum, and I have written a best-selling book on that subject for parents of special needs on stress reduction. And I've been on Fox News in the summer a few times as a special needs expert. So that's kind of also another world that I play in a lot, because that community really needs my support. So I really wanted to go to this conference that was being held on autism, and it was a big one. There was going to be great speakers. And then I thought to myself, that ticket is $150 or whatever the ticket was. I said, you know what? I also really want to buy this over here for my business, Where will I invest in myself, right? Well, I invested in the piece for my business because I felt it would be more important for my clients. It was something that I really needed for props for my workshops and stuff like that. I needed signage, and I said, okay, I'm going to invest that money over there. Well, then I see a competition pops up, win a ticket to this conference. And I went,
oh, there we go. I'm in.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to win.
So I get a call a week later, you won a ticket.
You know, and it's what people believe. Like, my mother never loses in cards. Like, you know, it's like when you play cards with her, just assume you're going to lose. I've won once, I think, in like 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I said, I believe it's because we all know she's going to win. We all say she's going to win all the time, and she thinks she's going to win. So she always wins. And it's like, guys, you're giving it to her because you keep saying, oh, grandma's going to win. Mom's going to win. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm going to win. Dang it. She did it again. I need a little clarification because I believe I was told I don't have self-worth. And when I see my actions and I hear my words, I believe I have self-esteem, but I have not enough self-worth. Can you kind of talk a little bit about the difference? Because I know if I'm feeling this, that there's got to be other people, because I didn't realize it until my Reiki master brought it up and I went, what? Oh, self-worth. And then I watched the words and actions and I'm like, oh, wow, I really am acting that. Can we talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah. Well, as you say it, I never even considered a distinction, to be honest, but as you say it, I'm getting a distinction. So the distinction I'm getting right now is self-esteem is very much to do with self, and how you see yourself in the world, and how you value your self-image and who you are, et cetera, et cetera. While self-worth is more to do with what you have to offer the world. And it's to do also with a lot with the baggage that we come from our family unit.
And that you're worthy of things. Because why I'm bringing this distinction up is challenges in manifesting if you have low self-worth, because you're not going to be able to do it as easily because you're shutting yourself down by believing that you are not worthy of all these gifts. You are not worthy of the financial gifts. You're not worthy of the love. But then in yourself, you believe in yourself and who you are. Like my self-esteem, like I know I'm a kind person. I know I'm a loving person. I know I'm a helpful person.
Exactly.
But then it's like, oh, but you know, I don't really deserve to be a millionaire. So what you're doing is you're fighting with yourself, and then you get mad because you're like, well, why didn't I manifest? Because you kept telling yourself you weren't worthy. So I think it was a drop in. It's happened to me, and I've worked on it because I didn't realize it either until she said it. I was like, oh, there's a difference. And it did shift quickly. So there's either somebody or many people out there to pay attention to that. What do you think of yourself? If you've gone through lots of programs and things just aren't flowing for you, there's a block in there. There's something. Yeah,
I agree, Brenny. And you know what's really coming to me as well is your family's perception around money is very much taken down, and it's almost like you put on your mother's or your father's or your great grandparents' old overcoat and you wear it as if it's yours. It doesn't even fit very well. It's tattered, it's torn, it's got holes in the pockets, and it's not really working for you, but you believe that is what you're supposed to wear because it's been handed down to you. It's been handed down to you and it feels precious, right? Oh, good God, take it off and go to Macy's and buy a new coat. It's
and you'll like it, you'll feel better and look better. Yeah, mine was, I've always been told, and I know one of the blocks in there was that you'll never have money until your parents die.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a damaging one.
Very damaging. Because then what do? You're afraid to make money. Afraid is a low vibrating fear and all that stuff, right? We're low vibrating when we're fearful and scared that, well, if I make money, then my parents will die, so I've got to wait until they die. And it happened, these little things that are imprinted into you that when you're a child, you may not even be aware of those stories till you meditate and it pops in and you're like, what?
Yeah.
No.
And as you're saying that, Brenny, one of the things that I became aware of with my family and from my culture, because it isn't just your family, it can be your whole culture. I'm from a country where we've been invaded so many times by so many different cultures. And so there's a whole piece in our culture, in the Irish Celtic culture, about those that are rich are usually trying to take stuff away from you. They're crooks. Right? They're invading, they're stealing all your gold, they're taking your land. That's the only way they get rich, right?
So look at that energy of belief in that, and everyone around you believes it. Your whole country believes it practically. So that's constantly bombarding you, and then you're like, why can't I make any money?
Yeah, exactly. And another piece, like even, and I first came over here, I've never... I've always really liked really nice things, which was I was also good at manifesting them. So that was pretty easy, right? So I decided I would manifest a house in a very beautiful place in California. And surrounded by millionaires, living in a marina, right?
Beautiful.
The landlord reduced the rent for me. It was just like all this perfectness lined up. And all my friends that I knew were exceptionally wealthy. So I was on the phone with my mom one day and I made a comment about, oh, I'm really excited. I have a vision on creating $1 million. I've got some really great business ideas coming down the line. And she won't mind me saying this because she's changed her viewpoint on this now. And we had a conversation on it a few years back. And she goes, why would you want to do that? How would you know who to trust?
She's still got that Celtic past year.
Oh, I said, wow, thank you for that reflection, Mom. How do you know who to trust? I said, well, as all my friends drive Porsches and actually live in $1 million homes, I think I'm okay.
Well, and it also is like what you're talking about, as I'm seeing, is it's who you surround yourself with. So, ghetto mentality, people that have grown up in that mentality of brokenness and you never can be anybody, versus like, do you think really that the rich people like a Paris Hilton, they're just used to being rich? That's a vibration they're used to. So
Exactly.
what I also like that you just said was, your parents and the people around you are teaching you lessons, whether you like it or not. The things that come out of their mouth are meant for a reason, guys. If it irritates you,
look at it.
That's a big aha for you.
Look at it straight away because you're triggered by it. Then there's a healing in it for you.
Exactly. So anything that irritates you, like if I say that in Feng Shui, if there's a color you hate, then that's the color you need. You need small doses. I'm not going to paint my whole room red. First, I'd drive you all crazy with the energy it'd give me. But it's not my thing. I'm a wood element and fire burns up wood, but I do small doses. Like I like splashes of it in pictures, splashes of it in clothes. You're not going to see me in a red dress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless you give me $1 million, and I'll walk around in a red dress for you, but I'm taking it off later and putting on a black one. So listen to what people are saying and what triggers you. And even if it's just a thought for a second in your head, that is how the universe is telling you that we need to correct some things. I was just reading this before we got on here, the Vine, and it was talking about God and how God puts messages in front of you and how to be aware of them. And so I love this. I love how synchronicities always happen, because what I was reading is exactly what we're talking about right now.
Oh, yeah, totally. And as well, Brenny, that there's a piece in this that I think is really valuable for people to hear. The surrounding yourself with people that have a wealth vibration and a wealth frequency. So, I consciously chose that when I moved from Ireland to America to live in a place, that was very high frequency for wealth. And that was a conscious choice I made because it was the only place that I was brought to that actually felt like home when I got there.
Mm-hmm. San Diego feels like home to me. I used to go there like 6 times a year because the energy is just like, and you don't have mosquitoes, okay? I dig it. You don't have mosquitoes, it's not 100 degrees. I'm in.
And one of the things that I was going on a look-see because we were coming from Ireland, we were moving the family over and it was a big deal. And the guy kept saying, I said, I really want to live here on this island because, it was Coronado and it's very exclusive.
Gorgeous, been there, love it.
And he's like, you cannot afford to live here. And I said, no, 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 you're not hearing me. I'm choosing to live here on this island. And he said, no, no, you can't afford to live here. I said, excuse me, I am choosing to live here on this island.
Now, who's the one who told you you couldn't afford that?
The guy who was driving us around, bringing us to where we were supposed to be living. And he just brought us
there's
there.
Some stranger telling her she can't afford it. He's assuming, and the word assume means an ass of you and me. So don't assume anything. And she would have bought into that. And that's what many of us do. You can have 1,000 compliments and one person says something negative about you, and what do you hold on to? That one thing. So thank God she didn't listen to him. Sorry to interrupt, but it's like, that was powerful. I'm like, the driver, did I hear that right? He's telling her,
yeah,
drive in your cab because you are not going to be able to afford to live on that island because that's what you believe.
Right. And so belief. And so what I realized is that my belief actually shifted everything. You know, because my husband fell into it. He was like, oh, I don't think we can afford to live here. And I said,
cut those cords.
And, you know, he'd bring me home the newspaper because he was working back and forth between America. And I said, you just need to bring me home the local Coronado newspaper and I will find us the right house. So he'd bring it home every week. He was week on, week off. And then I'd circle that. And I said, go see that house when you go back. He said, we can't afford that house. I said, go see that house when you go back. But that rent is way too. I'm like, go see the house. So sure enough, he goes, sees the house, and the guy drops the rent by $800.
See, it's belief. See, I have God bumps all over because this is how it works and this is how it happens. But what was happening with her husband, what was happening with the drivers, they were telling the universe. And the universe is like, it doesn't know right or wrong, however you want to look at it. Okay, you can't afford that. And she's like, oh, yes, miracles happen. And here's the big part, I think, for me is stop trying to figure out how they're going to happen, and then they happen. Because people get stuck in this rut. Well, how am I going to make money? I don't know. You know, I'm a coach, and you never know. Like all of a sudden one day I open my bank account up, and we do my PayPal account. We do these things on Facebook where you gift. So we'll have a little thing, and everybody, like, you put your PayPal.me button, and people just give you money, and everybody does it. So you're giving and receiving. It creates this really fun frenzy. And I hadn't participated in one for like a week or so, and one day I just opened up my PayPal account, and it's like, you have money. I have money. Cool. What? Somebody sent me money? Thank you. Yeah, didn't know the person. They just had gone through and participated. They saw me, and they said, I just felt like giving this to you to start your new year off right. And I'm like, well, that's right. You could have put another zero after that. I would have been mad, but thank you, because it validated. I'm big on intention. I'm big on intention in visualizing what you want, but not visualizing how, because that's when you do that, you actually are just digging yourself a hole of it's not going to happen, because God's going to make things always bigger and better than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
Always.
And, you know, there's a lot of exhaustion in this for people at times because they feel they're trying. And it just brings so much exhaustion down on top of them. They feel like they're in the desert and they're trying to find that oasis, and they're crawling through the sand with the cup in their hand going,
that is a damn mirage!
Help me, I can't find it. Right? And so we need to really talk to that exhaustion, because that exhaustion is coming from the ego mind that is trying to figure it all out. It isn't coming from the belief of the divine. It isn't coming from surrender to allowing God to get fully in the picture with you, to move you forward into a new frequency.
So then are you manifesting from the heart when you let God in? Is that where you manifest? And this is where they're trying to manifest from.
This is where they're trying to figure it all out from.
And the second you let go and manifest from here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it shifts everything.
So I know there's been a ton of people that have tried and things haven't worked. The biggest thing I can tell you to do is hang out with people like us, fun people, and people that do believe, and that can help you unblock or shift or move whatever you want to say. Because I guarantee you, if it hasn't been working, when I was talking to Siobhan, it's like, well, I'm in a rut. I live in a house by myself. I work by myself. I have this where I go take care of my parents. So when am I ever going to shift my thoughts? By watching a video? I'm not getting enough energy there. That's why I'm saying, get out in that Facebook group, Teleart Gathering page. Get in that page, make comments. We're going to go choose people because I just decided and I'm in charge. So what we do is usually a last week of replays. I'm not going to do a last week of replays. I'm going to do a last week of, we're going to pick people and we're going to do live with you like this, like you'll be on the screen with the two of us and we're going to go through people like that. So I highly suggest you take advantage of this because to me, that's the big shift. And you've done the work. Maybe that's why I was talking about laying the foundation. If you're one of those people have taken a lot of self courses, you're doing oracle cards, angel studies, aromatherapy, those are all tools, guys. Those are all tools to raise your vibration. And so you do have all these little tools, but you're still missing something. That to me is there's some block going on, and you may not be aware of what it is. That's why when we talk, we figure things out. But we can also see, and we're intuitive, and we're getting downloads, and we can shift things because we probably had it happen to us or someone else. So
for sure. That's going to be fun. I'm going to really enjoy that working with people directly. I mean, that's why a lot of people come to me is it's not always for manifesting stuff, but it's about how to get themselves out of their own way and what is blocking them from really having everything that is aligned for them, right? It's like at times I see people's source tube and I can see their connection and how they've sourced themselves up to the divine. And sometimes we have like what I see as a kettle pot lid and it comes literally down on top. This is where the self-worth comes in, Brenny. It's like God is trying to bring it all in and then you go, oh, I don't
deserve that. Stop. He's like, wait, you've been praying. Now, dang it, that Brenny's going to be praying again for the thing I'm trying to give her. She keeps closing her little kettle pot.
Yeah. Yeah. And other times I see our source tube like it's, like a zip tie and it's zip tied really tightly. Ooh. Like the tube is like huge up here. It's gone all the way up big. And then it comes down to this tiny little, and it's zip tied and it's beliefs. And it's usually family beliefs that are tied in or cultural beliefs that are tied in, blocking that piece from opening up. And, it doesn't take usually a lot for people to have a big shift. One of the things I say to people, if you're really struggling on a day-to-day basis and you need to have a financial shift and you feel like you're stuck in a rut, right? Go to somewhere that has a different wealth frequency than what you're used to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I love when I lived in Coronado, I used to go to the Hotel Del 3-4 times a week.
Oh, I love that place.
And I just would sit there and I'd have a coffee and I'd look out at the ocean. I'd call the dolphins. They were always around. Always. And, that instantly brought my wealth frequency because I'm in it, right? And it also helps you see if there's anything that is blocking you from being comfortable in that frequency. Because whatever you're feeling when you're there is the biggest blockage you have to allowing that level of wealth to be yours.
I remember when I was learning to manifest years and years ago, one of the things, because we were making vision boards and we were manifesting little things. And then it was like, well, how can you get more specific? And I remember the teacher saying, I don't remember what teacher it was. I can just remember them saying, so if you want that truck, go to the car dealership, sit in it, drive it. Go for a test drive and drive through, a fast food place like it's yours and you own it and feel it. And when you feel that feeling that you really own it, that's the energy you want to remember because that's your manifestation energy. And it was like really amazing the shift that I saw in people from that have struggled and struggled and struggled. And all of a sudden, like the next week, it's like, oh man, I got this, I got that, because they got out of their own way. And when you're talking about that zip tie, when you said it doesn't take long, well, all you have to do is snip it, and then guess what? All this whole pool of energy you've been asking for that the universe has been holding for you,
it comes in
right there. They probably do get irritated with it. It's like, oh, really? Here comes that same prayer, but
no, it's if you can put in, like, I create sacredness in every piece of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will chant, I will use my singing bowl all the time. I use sage spray all the time,
And I'm
clearing
burning mine up
energy.
this morning, burnt it already.
I've always got, what is it that makes you feel wealthy? It can be simple things. For me, when I light candles, it makes me feel abundant.
Oh, I love it. I
Right?
can
So
stare at a candle flame for hours. That's why I like fires, because you just really get sucked into them. And guess what? The fire element, that like loving candles and stuff, that's your fame and reputation. And that in feng shui means what's your soul, who you are, what you want to be known for. So that perfectly is an alignment, when you feel wealthy looking at a candle, because that's you. And it's also to be seen. It's the eyes. And up above, they see natural light. They don't see all our light bulbs on. That's just for our little pleasure. And so we can, I guess, work at night.
Yes. Get more done.
By the way, I love this one saying, I got to say real quick, is about, you got to have laughter, guys, is, well, if there wasn't a light bulb in a refrigerator, then God wouldn't want us to eat at night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a night eater and I eat in my sleep, just so y'all know.
I should take my light bulb out of my
I thought, well, if you want to lose weight, maybe take the damn light bulb out, because then you can't see the food.
No, but I love that. But I want people to really hear this piece as well, Bernie. Not about the light bulb or the fridge. Although that's very funny. But I want them to really start thinking about what is it that makes them feel wealthy. Is it, for me, I've got candles. So every day I light a candle. I love the scent of roses. Roses to me just speaks of abundance and prosperity. So I always have rose hand cream beside my bed. And every night I'll put some hand cream of rose.
So she's sleeping in wealth.
I'm sleeping in wealth, right? I have rose candles I burn. I go to, now I live closer to the La Costa Resort where the Deepak Chopra Center is. Mm-hmm. I go take yoga there. I go eat lunch there. I go hang out there. I used to bring my clients there, and sometimes I do. If I have a VIP client, we go hang there for the day, and we'll go to the spa, and we'll go, have a nice lunch. And I'd rather do that than buy takeouts and other stuff that I could spend the same amount of money on, right? Because it increases my wealth frequency and my vibration and my ownership that is where I vibrate at. And I love the way you said about going to the car dealership. I did that. I really wanted a Mercedes, an SUV Mercedes. And so I went straight to the car dealership and I went out in 2 different test drives in SUV Mercedes. They weren't the ones I wanted, but it put that frequency into my awareness.
That's the key.
And within 2 weeks, I had the exact right one. I wanted a gold colored. I wanted cream seats. I was very specific. It was sitting in the driveway. It was just like I called that into my life. And my husband says, Siobhan, I found your car.
Yeah, boy, I wonder what it looks like.
And my kids called it my golden carriage.
Ah.
And so I did this past life regression with a really good friend of mine who's very powerful. And in that lifetime, she brought us into our wealthiest lifetime. And I was most of my lifetimes have been in more servant mode, right? So this was your happiest, your wealthiest, and your most powerful. So in the wealthiest lifetime, I was this queen, very, very long time ago, but the big puffy dresses, right? And the can't breathe.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like those girdles anymore, do
Well, in that lifetime, I had this golden carriage, and I would go around in this carriage giving out stuff to the poor, right? Because people,
awesome.
Yeah. So when I got my golden Mercedes, it was all helped to attract the energy in, right? And when I got my golden Mercedes in that lifetime, one of my children was my child in that lifetime. So when he sat in the car with me, he said, Mommy, this is your golden carriage. He remembered. And then he kind of looked at me as if to say, why did I say that?
Where did that come from?
And the other guy in the back is like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you have to not care what other people think, because that's the thing going to stop you dead in your tracks.
And I know we're nearly finished our interview, so I just want to point this at, this other piece out, which I think is really powerful for people as well. I've had to say this to a couple of my clients recently, who say, I went to this part of the world and there was so little there and those people had so little and I felt really guilty because I was visiting and I had the money to fly there and right? And I said, because they have less doesn't mean anything. They're very happy often with that because that's all they know, right? Because you have more does not give them less.
Yeah, there is no little piece of pie that we split up and that's all you get and that's all there is. No.
And if you had less, they wouldn't have more. Right?
And to them, they may be wealthy. Like if you watch those shows like the Alaskan bush people and stuff, the last thing they would want is to be living in a big city. So what you think is wealthy, they don't want a Mercedes. They don't want to live on the island. They don't want any of that. They want to be as far away from people as possible and live in the woods and sustain themselves. That's their wealth. They are super wealthy to them because they have freedom. So everybody's wealth is something different, but we know 99% of you want money.
Yeah. But really want people to hear that. Just because you have more does not mean that anyone else in the world has less. I want you to really receive that piece because that is a big piece. And the more you have, because if you're listening to this, you're watching this, and you're even listening to the playback, whatever that way you're getting this information, if you have a lot of money and you choose to allow that into your frequency, you're not going to become suddenly a selfish, narcissistic individual, right? You're here because you're a spiritual seeker. So that spiritual seeker energy is only going to give you the power to go and make more movement in the world, to help more people in the world, to create legacy in the world. It brings you into that big vision desire place, right?
Yes.
And it allows you to say yes to giving back to others in the way you probably have always wanted to. So I say to people, what is your wealth frequency? Is it 100,000? Is it 10,000? Is it 100 million? What is your wealth frequency? If you were to sit and say, okay, what is my wealth frequency? I always say mine is around 56 to 65 million, right? That's kind of where I feel, oh yeah, I can say yes to that. And that would actually be okay to me. Because I have so many big dreams and visions of how I want to give back in the world.
Yes.
And what I want to create that's going to make a massive impact, right?
I do believe it's your mission to get as rich as possible, because then guess what, guys? You can send your kids to good schools. You can help others. You can donate. Like one of the things I want to do is donate a percentage of like the bundle sales to a certain charity. I always believe in giving back, but your job is to get as rich as possible, because guess what? Stress is low vibrating. What are you doing when you're thinking about money and you're in debt? You are so stressed out. You're not living in the now. You're not listening to your children. You can't send them to basketball camp. So your mission really is to get as rich as possible, and it's what you do with the money. And money is not God.
Mm-hmm.
But your mission really is to be as rich as possible in your heart. And God has all these gifts for us. It's not bad. That's paradigm. That's a learned behavior we're talking about from the past, right?
I remember saying to my son one time, and it was an old conversation, money doesn't grow on trees. I heard it come out my mouth and I went, oh God. And he said, Mom, don't be ridiculous. What do you think money's made of?
It's
paper.
A tree with
Where do you think paper comes from?
I know when people say that, I go, well, yeah, it does. Money does grow on trees.
I'm like, oh, that put you back in your box. pull that belief out, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, that's a load of rubbish. It does grow on trees.
And it could be just one person 100 years ago came up with that saying, and it got passed along, and then it just made that vibration more powerful. And, really listen to your words. I'm big on the words that come out of your mouth, because in feng shui, we listen intensely to your words, because that tells me where to go in your house and what to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't listen to their words, because you're just sabotaging yourself constantly by that. And even here, it's a vibration.
And another thing, just as our final point, when I go back to the competitions I've won and how I won those, and it's not just those two, I've won a lot more than that. I never believed that I wasn't going because I completely didn't have the money, right? Except for that Queen concert. I didn't have the money for that one, but I could have got it probably if I'd asked my parents, right? But I didn't want to. I wanted to be independent and do it on my own, right? But when I won another ticket to go and to see another conference, and again, it was a competition, and I got online in my pajamas with my hair standing on end, and I made a video, and I won.
They're probably like, oh, we feel sorry for her. Give her the ticket. Look at her. Oh, Lord.
But again, I had said to myself, I think I'd really like to go to that conference. But then I thought about the money. It was like $400 or $500 or something. And I thought, I don't think I'll use that money for actually doing this. So it's not that I'm telling the universe, I don't have the money to. We need to watch our languaging. I don't have the money to do that. The universe goes, oh, well, bye-bye.
I never win. Well, then don't even enter the contest. I hear people say that all the time. Well, I'll get a lottery ticket, but I never win. Save your $1 or $2 or whatever it is, because you just told the universe, I won't win.
Yeah.
I will, or she will.
So if you are wanting something, watch how you believe about it. Watch what your belief around it is. Is it in a lack and limitation energy, or is it in a possibility energy, right? An opportunity energy. And so when we consider it from that viewpoint, we have to really just be mindful of our conversations internally and externally, what's coming out our mouth. And, if you've got family members around you, you want to start working on this together, or your best friends, have you spot each other in totally loving way, right? But have you spot each other. Oh, you said that again, Siobhan. That.
My sister has a stop sign she puts up, because I said, you have to stop that thought. You're a repeater, and you keep repeating it, so you're making it stronger and stronger. Mm-hmm. So she has a stop sign. So whatever works for you, do that, and it's going to help you quickly. Especially having that person to work with. I am big on co-creation and hanging out with others. I love being alone. But you guys, the power of being just connected, we're 4 people here, you and I, our thought process. That's just how it works. Just square it. So if you're hanging out with a cool group of 4 people, that's 16 minds working from the collective going. And we know that from when we get together and do our little joint venture stuff. It's like, oh, download.
Totally. I was just saying, because I have a group on the go right now. It's just started, and it's an alchemy group, and there's 12 people in it currently from all over the world that are involved in that. And it's videos and it's live calls on Saturday mornings. And this first call is this Saturday morning. But I said that to the group. You're in a collective energy. We have each other's back here. We make everything we do much more powerful from the intent of the collective. And even if people can't make every call, it doesn't matter. The fact they are holding, the collective group is holding them.
Right.
We've all signed up. We've all said yes. And that collective energy is so powerful because it has a twofold piece. It has one, it amplifies everything that's in creation. But 2, it has witnessing. Now, when we witness each other's transformation, witness each other's powerful exploration, witness each other's decoding of negative beliefs or whatever that is, it creates such a supportive energy for your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your whole internal nervous system goes, oh my God, people have my back. I'm supported. I'm witnessed. I'm heard. I'm valid. I matter. Right? In truth, we all just want to matter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're witnessed in a collective energy, you matter. And it amplifies any healing that can ever happen. So
Right.
we can do things at home on our own, but when you join a group energy, it's usually 10% more or 100% more, depending on the input you choose to have in that group, but the energy amplifies.
So let's talk a little bit about your group. I'm going to go to your speaker page right now.
Okay.
Oh, Brenny and her sharing. Okay, so you will receive an email, guys, after this. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'll just explain technologically so you understand. Once we're done recording, this recording has to download to my computer. It's called rendering. I have to make it an MP4 or a video so you can watch it. And, you know, it takes a while to do it. It's not like this. So in about 2 hours, the replay will be up in several pages. It's going to be on Siobhan's speaker page, which is teleartgathering.com/Wilcox. Because I could never spell Siobhan right. I can't. Nobody else can. And it's also going to be on the replay page, which is teleartgathering.com/replay. I'm putting it on YouTube, and we're live streaming it in Facebook. There's plenty of places to watch this. They'll be up throughout the series. We want you to get the information, and then I'm pulling them all down, but you can invest for $17 and get all the speakers. But let's go through. She's the unicorn. We do want to talk about why you're the unicorn energy. Probably should have started that way, but oh well, it doesn't matter when we talk about it. Everybody is an energy, and the energy of the unicorn happens to be Siobhan. Siobhan, why are you the unicorn? The magical unicorn.
Well, this is really more to do with the belief, right? It's to do with that magical vibrational energy of purity, integrity, and belief. And this is really what the unicorn stands for. So
we love that unicorn.
I love the unicorn. You know, when I did Doreen Virtue's angel therapy training in Hawaii over 10 years ago at this point. And on your first day, you get given a random pack of cards, and I got the unicorn cards. And I'm thinking they're for kids. I'm like, oh gosh, really? But I missed the point. It was because that's the frequency of who I am. And then my husband, of course, gave me a unicorn deck for Christmas, not even knowing about this unicorn piece. And I was just laughing. I said, okay, Paul, I know you were away when I was doing this. You didn't know, but so
then she shows up. I'm like, what animal do you want to be? She's like, what? Unicorn. And everyone's like, I want the unicorn. I'm sorry, unicorn. Yeah. Taken. We all have images of beautiful unicorns, and we love this image a whole lot. And one reason we really like it also is it has the chakras in it, has the rainbows in it, and that's what this is all about. If you look at our image for the series, it's a rainbow vortex of energy that turns into a rainbow bridge. Well, how I envision it is all these speakers, we're up there, right? We're coming down with our gifts and our talents to Earth to give you the information to take you across the rainbow bridge. The rainbow bridge is using these tools and taking action and manifesting this magic that you maybe thought was impossible, because it's all about your arc, which is you, which is your temple, which is you. So that's why we love the rainbows. And this one just popped up just like that. It's like, well, let's go see if we can find a unicorn. Well, look at it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she had, guys, this on her page, this is where the recording is going to go. So she does have a free gift. You can go out and read about that and get that. It's awesome. It's about dowsing and pendulums. You can see it right here. But let's talk about your special offer, because I want to make sure people that are interested can jump into this. I want to say that January 3rd is the incorrect date here.
It is, yeah.
But that's okay for now, because this is a preview page. I probably should have done a different one, but that's okay. we're here. So let's talk about what the special offer is. And then all you guys have to do is I have it set up with two different ones. You can pay the $197 or you can pay two payments of $117. This program is $500 for sure after the series. And I told her I'd put a 1 in front of it. I'd make it $1,500 personally, because just being able to have access to Siobhan and her to help you with your movements and your shifts. I mean, if somebody said, would you give me $200 if I can help you shift your energy frequency so you can start manifesting and having the life you love, you deserve, and you want? Would you pay someone $200? You'd pay them a lot more than that. And to have the one-on-one guidance is just like unbelievable. So that's how I feel about it. So why don't you tell them a little bit about the 6-week course, and you know, if they show up, if they can't show up, how that game is played.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brenny. You know, it is 6 weeks. And this coming Saturday, the 21st, is actually the first live group call. So you haven't missed anything. You have so far uploaded has been a number of videos with different meditations and information to create the foundation for what I'm calling Step Into Your Alchemy. And then every week, we're going to have a live group call on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then those are recorded if you can't come on the call. I know people already in the program are asking me if there's special rates so they can do one-on-ones with me. There will be once you're in the program. Then every week you're going to have at least 2 to 3 videos. Sometimes there's more. The first week there's the 3 videos on pendulum working, and then there's 4 other videos, including a really powerful meditation that people are saying is just fabulous, and it's really shifting them already. So every week there'll be some tool to shift you into a new frequency. What is getting uploaded this Sunday is all about our relationship with money and how we interact with money, how our languaging is around money, any blockages we have around money. So it's all around money and finances this week. Last week was all about creating sacredness and the foundation for opening alchemy into your world. And we're going to be talking about creating the environmental way. I've got an interview with you, Brenny. I've also hopefully got an interview coming up on how to create altars for abundance with a best-selling author who just focuses on creating altars. And it's going to be about our home, our environment, and how to get that lined up, because it has to be at all levels of our being. Then we're going to look at our past lives and anything that may block from our past lives. We're going to look then at all different ways that our families have created energy that may be interfering with us. You know, this is a pretty comprehensive, it's based on my 25 years of previous work with my clients, of all of the different pieces that may have blocked them. And so we're going to have an access to the Akashic Records room. I've been given downloads of how to do that. People can do that for themselves. It's got a huge amount of information in it about how to shift your DNA, about how to shift your neurology, how to have, you know, I can't tell you enough. It's phenomenal.
That's a lot of information in a course.
It is. And it's really, you know, this is, I'm charging $197 for this because it's the first time I've done it in this format. I've done this in live events, but I've never done it in this way. But really, I am going to be charging closer to $197 for it when $1997.
I was going to say, huh?
Yeah, $1997 when it actually comes
Each
out.
Each week that you're talking about to me could be a course.
Yeah.
So if they join today, they're excited because I'm excited. Let's say I want to jump in right now. What do? I click on the button. Then I am going to go and register on your membership site. Do I get information today? Do I get to get in the Facebook group today? Do I get to start watching videos today? What do I get? You
can definitely get to start. As soon as I know that there's a payment into me, then I will send you your opt-in details. Unless you set it up.
I have it set up. So from my standpoint, yeah, I make it super easy. So all you have to do is be the teacher and show up and do your gifts, baby.
You're fabulous.
Oh! So guys, all you have to do is click on that button. And once you invest, I don't like the word pay or buy because to me you're investing in yourself. Once you invest, then you will get redirected to a thank you page that you click on, a button, and it takes you to Siobhan's membership site where you're going to log in. And I also send you an email because I know how technology works or doesn't work at times. And anybody that's online in the last month or two knows there's some weird wacko crackle stuff going on.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
Mercury is in retrograde ongoing, I think.
yeah, they said it ended on the 9th, and I said, well, I don't know for who or where because I'm reading posts. It's not just me. And
No.
it's not just like on one website. It's everywhere,
multiple.
everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? So all you have to do is click on the button. I'm going to talk to you after the recording and get what each week is about so I can put that on there too because that's how my little
Yes, I have it. I have that laid out already.
Right. We've just been really busy because we've got some other stuff that we are working on together, Siobhan and I and two other ladies that you may just really love. Okay, so make sure to get her thank you gift. All you have to do is click here. I've heard great things about this because my students have gotten this. See, when you're my students, you also get benefits of things ahead of time. And then all you have to do, so if like right now you haven't manifested the 197, then 2 payments of 117. Just click on that. You'll pay the 117 now, and then in a month you'll pay another 117. And if you really are challenged at the moment, but you need a little help, then message Siobhan, message me, and we are really here to help you, and we want to make things work. But get in that class. So if you're sick and tired of taking classes, if you're sick and tired of chasing shiny objects, if you have put the work in and nothing has worked for you, you want to get in this class.
Thank you, Brandy, darling.
You're welcome.
I'm very excited about it. You know, people are having, big energetic shifts already. I've had people emailing me just from the first week saying how fabulous the training is and how it's making a difference already to them. And so, for me, that's all I'm here to do is just to create a different vibration for people. It's my joy. It's my legacy. It's what I'm here to do. And so when people say yes, I get so excited because I'm here to support at the highest level possible.
So Siobhan may be the teacher you've been asking for. So here she is. The teacher showed up. But when we are connected, we're aware of the opportunities and we're aware of it. Because I noticed that's what's happened on the series, as I've done like 17 of these things now, is that people get really excited and they're praying for a teacher. The teacher shows up and then they go into fear and they don't get in the program. And then they start hearing all these great things that's happening in the program and they want to get in it. And they can get in it, but the price is a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, people, because we do this. We do free information to help you. We'll answer any of your questions, put them in the Facebook group before the recordings, after the recordings. We're going to do drawings. We're doing everything on our part to help you, but you have to take the action and click on that button.
Thank you, Brenny. Yeah, because this program is closed to most people at this point, and it is $997 now if you wanted to join it, not $197. So.
Yeah, so you can pay 5 times more, or you can get in and have fun right now. Yeah, we had some fun. We were laughing so hard. I was doing some feng shui stuff because of the external energy needs to be in order to be wealthy also. So if you like the two of us together, I know there's a little bonus in there one week. I got to get in the class. All right, everybody, we thank you for your time. We try to honor the time. We got a little wacko-cracko at the beginning, so we went a little over an hour. But please show up for all these live streams, all these speakers, or you're going to get one thing from each one. Your life will shift amazingly. And they all have a different gift. That's what's great about this. I love you, girlfriend. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Bye, Brandy, darling.
May orbs sparkle around you today like they're zinging around me. Bye, everybody. Are you doing your bell to end it?
Mm-hmm.
And finish here. Well, Facebook ain't playing friendly.